Hello, everyone. Welcome to our conversation series featuring experienced community builders and human development experts. These conversations are intended to offer different perspectives on the essential skill sets required to foster a culture of authentic human connection. In these conversations, we will explore many of the challenges and solutions to catalyzing nurturing communities. I hope you find these conversations uplifting and insightful. Please enjoy. Hello, everyone. Today I'm having a conversation with my friend Silvia. Among her many accomplishments to the co-living sector and beyond, her authentic commitment to community facilitation stands out for me. Not only that, she also was pivotal in helping me complete my recent book, Born to Connect. I hope you enjoy listening to our conversation.
Okay, so I'm Silvia. I'm Italian. That's very much part of me. Even if I've lived in England for almost 20 years, I define myself 99% Italian. And my passion and my family passion, I would say, because our business is a family business, is building communities with a specific take on co-living. So that's a little bit where I am in the journey. I think I've always been a person interested in people, quite empathic, always trying to help others. And then when I started my career, that was very much part of me. And when I moved to England, I was 23 years old. I've always tried to work on brands and trying to drive change, working on big brands, trying to have an impact on the world, either environmental or social, but really trying to drive change. And after a few years spent trying to drive change at scale, working with brands, we decided with Williams, my business partner, to really try to help entrepreneurs and people that are really trying to drive change from bottom up, to give them a space and give them support and a network where they feel supporting and they feel more able to pursue their dream and ideas. That's how we came into co-living. So we were very much interested in entrepreneurship, sustainability. And after banging our head, working on big brands and big companies, trying to drive change, but that takes time and not always happen, we decided to actually, even if we have a small impact, but really try to have a system that enable entrepreneurs and people with a big or small idea to be supported by like-minded individuals that give them energy, give them confidence, give them connection. So that's how we started to build communities. We started in Oxford 3-4 years ago. We're coming up to our 4th year. And at the moment, in 2016, when we started, co-living was at the beginning of the movement. Obviously, there were a lot of shared living, and we were part of it in the UK for a long time. But really, building and designing space around people was what we're passionate about. And that's how we started in 2016.
Wow. I did not know that part of the story. And it helps me understand a little bit more about our connection and our friendship, because this is very much what drove me to start Pure House back in 2012 in Brooklyn, was a passion for supporting entrepreneurs and specifically entrepreneurs that were interested in social impact. So as we say, social entrepreneurs, and creating a really nurturing environment for them to thrive in. And a lot of that was emotional support. I recognize that was probably the biggest value that I could offer them was helping them to see their potential that I could see so clearly, and then to connect them with whatever they needed. And I really felt that, a living environment was such a perfect place to do that. And so it's beautiful to hear that's a lot of what inspired you guys as well. So I'm curious, what are some of the things that you found have been kind of most nurturing for a community? Like, what are the different things that you guys do to help to foster this environment?
I think There are different elements. The one that probably I would mention is first of all is location, right? Because if we are, for example, we spoke about entrepreneurship, social entrepreneurship. So for us, before we started our first operation, we spent 2 years almost deciding where is the right environment, where do we find these people that need a support network, that have big ideas. They are surrounded by the right ecosystem. So for us, we travel almost for 2 years about the UK before selecting a location where to start. And it was really a discovering journey in trying to understand what are the micro dynamic and economic dynamic of the area. So first, probably is location. If you're clear about your target audience and the type of community you're trying to help or support, where are these individuals and where does it make more sense? So for us at B-Hive Living, after 2 years of research, we landed in a little village outside Oxford. Oxford is one of the most unaffordable locations in England, but is also one of the area where there is most investment, technology, engineering. Like there is so much talent in the area. And a lot of these people come there from abroad or they study in England and decide to stay. So it's really hard to find affordable housing in Oxford, despite there is this huge amount of talent arriving there and wanting to create something good in the world. So we started in this little village, 20 minutes outside Oxford, and for us, location was important. Obviously, after location, curation, I would say. So if you really want to care and protect the people in your community, you don't want outsider, I would say, or people that don't share your vision and your mission in life to come in the place, because they could really destroy the atmosphere or not bring in the vibe that you need. So for us, like a lot of effort goes in curation, making sure, which doesn't mean what do you do in life, what job you have, where you're from. For us, it's more like a behavior, an attitude to life. So we always say we want people with a positive attitude in life. At the end of the day, most of the people that live with us, that they're not necessarily entrepreneur, because even if you look at the stat, more than 80% of co-livers, they're actually people with a job. But that doesn't matter, because they can bring skill, they can bring their background, they can build their network, their knowledge, and that could be at the availability of that 20% of the people that might be entrepreneur in your community. So there is certainly diversity, but I think for us in fostering a community and creating an atmosphere which is aligned to our values, curation is a big part of it. And it comes to the screening process. Normally we select one person out of 7 that apply to our spaces. And that's very much driven by what they want to bring in the community, what is the value for them in shared living, why they want to join. Like there are tons of room in the area where we operate. So we normally ask, why are you interested? If the answer is just a room, definitely is not the place for them.
I see.
So I would see location and curation. And once people are in there, we are really trying to galvanize or leverage, especially in the first months when people join, what is their talent? What is it that they want to give in the community? Because we have people with us since the beginning of the journey, like our first resident is still with us 3 years after. But we also have an average stay with us of 7 to 8 months, 9 months. So we have a lot of fresh energy coming in, but we also have long-term resident. And what we believe work for us is making sure when people join, they get to know each other, but also bringing what is their talent. There are people that might join us and they're interested in art or in painting or anything. So we try to organize events around them to get the community to know the person, but also offer their skills and ability. So I think really utilizing the first months of settling in to leverage the passion and what person have to bring, we found it quite powerful to nurture the community.
Beautiful, beautiful. What's one thing that you would say maybe has surprised you most in kind of in this journey into co-living? Maybe something that you weren't expecting that you've discovered.
I think there are 2 things that just came to my mind. The first one is that people actually change. Like we have a lot of people that might arrive and surprise themselves on getting along with weird individuals that they would at first sight, they thought they would never get along with. But I think really diversity foster an opening of people's mind and connection. And talking about connection, I think loneliness is one of the things that hurt my heart the most. And I think when we look at the stat and also the amount of loneliness that happen among young people, I absolutely believe co-living is an answer to loneliness. And I normally meet everybody that comes and live with us just for a call or a video chat or a coffee. And just seeing the impact on these people's life, like we have a lot of people that maybe have finished relationship or having to change country for job reason, and they arrive and they feel quite lonely, or they haven't had a support network or a powerful relationship to give meaning to their life before coming in. But after being surrounded by people, like it's just people being with you, like you're not alone. There is someone else that at any time of the day you arrive at home is there for a cup of coffee or for a beer or for a barbecue, whatever it is. Just lift the spirit of people, and we see like there are people arriving and I can read it in their face. They're absolutely fine, but they're just a little bit sad or craving for some relationship, and just being surrounded by people, especially in this crazy year of pandemic where everybody's kind of a bit more isolated. I think it has a powerful effect in fighting loneliness, and if I can do a little bit, even if it's just for one person, for me, I'm happy.
Beautiful. I deeply resonate with that. I guess a little bit similar to that. What would you say is like the audience that you guys are attracting, and is it in any way different than what you expected in terms of the kinds of people attracted to your version?
To our location. To be honest, I'm quite, when we started, we had a professional target audience in mind. So as we said, like in Oxfordshire, there is a lot of people moving for a career reason, job reason, or people that stay after university. So I thought we would have a lot of professional living with us, which yes, is the case. We have a lot of engineer, for example, working in Formula One company, but we also have the nurse, we also have the geography teacher, we also have the hairdresser. So I think, yes, professional remain our key audience, but I love like the representation of society, if you want, under the roof, because you have from the teacher to the nurse to the F1 engineer. So I like that. I like that because I think it's a bit more democratic and representative of what's out there. But I think it's also important to have your audience in mind so you can design service around them and obviously then expand it to a larger group.
Yeah. You know, when I was doing Pure House in Brooklyn, it was the thing that I received back as feedback most from people that chose to stay with us, is that they appreciated that diversity so much, where, you know, they could be living with all different kinds of people that had very, very different backgrounds or work experience. And I think that that's such a beautiful opportunity that living in community offers. So.
And I think people crave for that. I mean, people crave for real relationship. People crave for relationship, live alone real relationship. And I think, nowadays it's not that it's not easy to have meaningful relationship, but I think it's harder and harder because of social connection or because of lack of time, because of business, because of pandemic. So I think like being able to share a piece of your life or a journey under the same roof with someone, it's magical. And we see it like last week we had a Christmas virtual event, and without knowing, we had some people that left our hive, but they just joined in because they're still super friend or they have something, a special connection with people still in the hive. So for them, it's still family. And I think that's great. I mean, that's the power. That's what you remember in life, right? Who are the people that really made a difference in that time that you spend while in Bali or in Oxford or in Lisbon?
Yeah, totally. So as someone that's super passionate about fostering community and a culture of connection, and I would imagine it's a quality that comes quite natural for you. But in doing this in, let's say, a professional context, have you identified some like really important qualities or skill sets that are important for people that are community facilitators?
Yeah, I think it's it's probably something you can't really teach, right? Like it's not a degree you have. You really need to be passionate about people to do it. Otherwise, it's so hard to teach someone to be empathic or interested in people if they're not. Like I don't think it's something you can get better, but it starts with a genuine interest in humans, in people, and I think an open heart, because you need to forget about your pre-assumption. You need to forget about what is it right for you, because every situation is different. And as a facilitator, not always you're there to really understand what's going on under a co-living roof. So I think really a passion for people, a passion for facilitation rather than finding truth is about finding solution or finding ways of making the experience better. And sometimes we have cases where it's not easy, right? We might have cases where relationship might be hard, or you might have a new joiner in the community that maybe it's landing in a community that is really solid and they might be disruptive or doesn't fit in well. So it takes a lot of empathy, it takes time, and it's also sometimes, I come from a corporate background, so if there is a problem, I solve it. While in relationship and in community facilitation, not always. There is a solution to a problem, but there is a dialogue and there is an opening and there is a space that you need to create for people to find solution themselves rather than you finding solution for them. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, you need to accept it. Like sometimes people have to find their own way of dealing with conflict or with diversity. And it's not always up to you to solve it. So that's for me is the hardest, because I'm a problem solver and I love solving problems. But when it comes to people, it's not always on you. It's about finding the right balance of being there and available to facilitate dialogue, but also not over-intruding or oversimplifying for others. But it starts with the love for people and the genuine love for people. And I know if I have to write a job description of a community facilitator, like it's really hard. Like I work with friends that were in sustainability task force for the collective when they started, and I told them, can you help me write a job description for a community facilitator? I found it the most difficult job because it's not something you learn. There is no university to teach you how to facilitate people, right?
If I was to write a job description, I would say it's tougher than being a really great mom.
And for me, being a great mom is one of the most difficult jobs.
Because like there's this quality of not only being caring and compassionate, but also there's this quality of you're their friend, but then you're not exactly their friend. You're kind of like a parent, but not exactly a parent. You have to create boundaries. And it's really such a nuanced skill set. And what I've found is that with really great community facilitators, they tend to put everything into it and then they burn out. And so also it's a lot about like resourcing and like, creating our own internal boundaries.
Totally.
Yeah. So, So we're in this super, super crazy time right now. And I feel like this proves more and more the importance of human connection and fostering, nurturing community. But I'm also recognizing that, there's some significant challenges that we're facing in the future. So this is kind of like just an open-ended prompt. What are your thoughts about all of this and where we are right now?
Yeah, I think people are frightened. There is instability. We don't know. We think we have gone through a hard year, but we don't know really what 2021 will be like. There are a lot of big decisions happening around the world. So I think people are under pressure, but have a positive attitude. I think you can go through any problem, but if you are surrounded by people with a positive attitude, you're always going to find solution around it. And I totally believe, like as a year ago, that co-living is definitely one of the future answers that the new generation will need. So I totally believe in there were some headline at the beginning of the pandemic, co-living is dead after COVID. Absolutely not. I totally believe that now more than ever, people understand the power of community. Yes, this community might become smaller. You might not want to be with 100 individuals, but I totally believe that the model, the co-living model, will remain despite the crazy time we will go through, and we don't know what's going to happen with the pandemic. Like community, intentional community, or community built around specific values, we remain key, because the need of relationship is not going to go away. And we have seen this year what's the trauma, and we don't even know what's going to happen in the future, given the isolation a lot of people have lived this year. My sister, she's a psychology, and she's never worked as crazy hour as she has this year. So definitely we're going to see in the future the post-trauma from isolation that will come. And for the younger generation, I totally believe co-living is here to stay. And I'm super positive about co-living being an answer to a crisis we're going to go through.
Yeah. So what do you see as the kind of trajectory for B-Hive and what you guys want to do next?
Yeah, we started a small operator in Oxford. That's our home, that's our base. We have developed 4 prototypes in the areas. We are now looking at expanding in the area in Oxford, but also we moved to Portugal with Williams 2 years ago. So we're also busy trying to understand how the model can work here in Portugal. It's a very different environment. It's very different business model compared to what we do with England. But we learned a lot in 2 years. We also started the co-living movement here. When we arrived, like, co-living was not on the conversation. We were trying to talk about co-living from government to legal advice, and nobody had a clue what we were talking about. So thanks to co-live and people like you, like Kat, we really tried to bring the movement here, and we are doing like events month after month to educate on what co-living is. There is a huge amount of service accommodation, apartment, alloggiamento locale, but here co-living as a residential model, not the travel-oriented model, has not really taken shape yet. And that's what we are passionate about. We are passionate about bringing co-living to the residential model of co-living to Portugal for people that really look for long-term residential solutions. So yeah, we're excited to hopefully open soon a hive in Portugal, maybe more than one. We are really working hard to crack the model here and try to make it work. And that's what's going to keep us busy in 2021.
Awesome. Well, I have one more question for you. What would you say is the best way, or some of the most important things that we can be doing right now to prepare ourselves for all the unknowns that we're facing right now?
Oh, that's a tough question. You leave it at the end. No, I think for me, more and more, and that's why I loved your book, Ryan, I think we need to learn to be true to ourselves. I think when challenge happens, when you are in hard moments of life, I think being true to your value and to who you are is how you're going to fight any battles ahead of you. So I think now more than ever, I find for myself, like, being true to who you are and invest in growing your qualities, your passion, your skills. I think that's how I'm going to fight the future. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if I don't know really. We can't know. But if we are true to ourselves and try to get better every day at what we love and what we do, I think that's how I would be proud of myself at any point in life. So yeah, self-development, but also really nurturing ourselves before we can nurture communities.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I also just want to thank you again for helping me to, like, really believe in myself and to push myself to finish that book, because it was singularly you that did that. So I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
I'm honored. And it was the first time we spoke, so
I know.
And I will never forget it.
And you also took a first read, so thank you so much.
I loved it, and I'm gonna read it again.
Oh, I appreciate it.
That's what's about your book, right? It's about being true to yourself. I mean, you have gone through a lot, Ryan. I had no idea of your life, but at every point, like, just realize we are not superhero. We're just here. We have no control of what's gonna happen to us. Like we can only be the best of ourselves, trusting in a bigger picture. You can call it God, Buddha, or whatever you want to call it. But we're just here, and I think values, and that's what I want to teach my kids as well, like being good people, and you define what good means in any situation you face in life, and grow your good further every day. Yeah, I think that's what I help you connect with people, understand people, and try to build a better world.
Thank you so much. And
Ryan.
and I really hope that you and the family can get here to Bali soon. I so much look forward to seeing you guys, and you have a home here. If it was more light out, I'd show you. It's really a beautiful, nurturing place. The kids will love it.
I look forward. I'm sure we're gonna make it happen.
And I wish you a very, very happy holiday.
Thank you.
And please send my love to Williams and the rest of the family.
I will. Thanks, Ryan. Have a great
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Thanks for inviting.
Thank
Bye.
you.